Hello. It's been a little while, hasn't it? A couple of months, maybe? Not sure. Nice to see you. I thought I'd have a little check-in with you whilst I was on my morning walk. This isn't a channel where I'm going to be uploading all the time. This is just a channel where I upload my experiences, what I think I've learned from them, and what I think I can pass on to other people that might be in that same position. So this isn't a channel for monetary value, or subscriptions and all that kind of normal YouTube goodiness. This is just it's just a free flow of consciousness, I guess. So I do have something to report, to talk about, quite serious for me anyway. I guess I was the one going through it. So maybe in the last 4 weeks, life, I guess, was testing me, was giving me that final push of, let's just see how good your resolve is, let's just see how good your mindset is in all this. And a lot of things happened at once, and it was all concerning people that lived around me. So I had a local drug dealer who decided to cut a hole in my security fence, saw the same drug dealer mark my door for possible burglary, something like that. Sorry for moving the camera, I'm fogging up. The neighbour downstairs, who I've had constant problems with for 10 years, when he came home a few weeks ago, it took him 20 minutes to get in his house because he was so drunk. He was outside shouting that he was going to slice me open like a fish, that I was a dead man, and horrible things. And then when he got inside, he was still shouting, and it was aimed at me with the stuff. I know it was me. And we've had another neighbour's property that was sold, and somebody who'd moved in was buying drugs all the time, and I was very concerned about the elderly lady that lives underneath, who's 67, who weighs 6 stone, and the 76-year-old man. So I was very concerned with these people. And a week and a half ago, I ended up in hospital with a massive, huge, at the time I thought it was like a panic attack that was coming in, and it was basically a physical and emotional breakdown. It was as close to a possible psychosis that I would ever want to get to. It was everything all at once just jumped on me. Now thankfully that day I'd been online to move my GP, my doctors, from where I used to live. This is 10 years, I haven't been to the doctors maybe 15 years. So I was moving my doctors over to where I live. So that was all being done electronically. And that was done in the Wednesday morning. By the afternoon, I was getting tight chest, palpitations. Probably for about 10 days before that, I was in nature all the time, and I could feel my heart just constantly do, just beating hard, just all the time. It didn't stop. It was waking me up sometimes. I could feel it in the shower. I could feel it when I was in nature. The slightest thing was just sending my body temperature sky high. I was cold and I was shaking, but I was sweating, constantly on high alert. So when you're on high mental alert, then you're physically and just mentally exhausted. So I've probably lost maybe 3/4 of a stone. I'm putting it back on now. But I ended up in hospital. I had to ring an emergency ambulance, and I'll go through this ordeal. I rang the ambulance, and they turned up. And I didn't know what was really going on. I just wanted help. I just said, just help me. Just all I need is help. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's happening, because I could just feel myself, my consciousness just slipping, just getting smaller, and I knew I was fading away. And it was only the breathing techniques that I think was stopping me from hyperventilating, and I was just having to do my breathing techniques, box breathing. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for maybe 4-6 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and then repeat. And that was the only thing that was really stopping me from just spiraling completely out of control. And they were meant to like look at me in the house. I said, no, we need to take you to the hospital. So they took me in, but I didn't take my phone with me, didn't take any money with me. And I remember asking, how do I get home? How do I get home? They were like, don't worry, love, we'll bring you home. I was like, okay, peace of mind. So getting there was a bit of a blur. I know they took some blood sugar or something like that. And I was just constantly breathing, constantly just saying, it's okay, I'm not my emotions, I'm not my feelings, I'm not my thoughts, just trying to just pull back and just step out of it rather than just being entombed, encased in it, which I think really helped. And I got to the hospital and I honestly thought I was in a psych ward. Everybody who was in there had mental health, bar one had mental health problems. And there was a lot of alcoholics in there, and they thought it was very jokey in there. They were shouting across the ward. They thought it was funny. They're probably there every day getting their free painkillers and stuff. They know how to work the system. So I asked to be moved because of the noise, because I was so freaked out. I was trying to meditate in there to get rid of the noise. Because I was there for 7 hours by myself. And I'm not saying I'm going to choose my words carefully here. I wasn't scared. I was terrified in there. I was terrified at home, and if I thought I was terrified at home, then all I can describe being in that hospital, and this was A&E, accident and emergency, it was a living nightmare. Everybody in there, bar one, had mental health problems. They brought this immigrant in who could hardly speak English, that was drunk, that they were allowing to still drink. He had a can of beer in his hand. 3 security guards brought him in and sat him next to me, and he was constantly just banging. And then he started laughing. Now this was like the Joker from Batman, maniacal laughter, just laughing and rocking and laughing, and I was next to him just trying to hold on. And then he started to have a seizure. So they all rushed over and they put him on a gurney and put him on a stretcher. And it wasn't there, and he'd been probably sat next to me for an hour. And it wasn't until they put him on that gurney that they found a knife on him. Now 3 security guards brought him into the A&E, didn't search him, and he had a knife on him. So that sent me kind of spiralling. And I was looking at these nurses who were walking past me. About 5 nurses walked past me, and I caught all of their eyes as they walked past me. And they all looked away, and not one of them, and I was bawling my eyes out at this point. I was terrified. I was rocking, like my arms were like clasped around me for comfort, and I was rocking and I was terrified. I could feel myself slipping away, but I was trying to hold on, and I had all this going on like around me, and not one of them asked me if I was okay or if I needed anything. There was the one person that was there, I think, who didn't have mental health problems. There was a guy on a bed, and his wife came over and said, "Are you okay, love? Do you want a glass of water?" She was the only one. And I said, "I just need help." And nobody would help. And I stood up in the middle of the A&E, and I'd probably been there for 3 hours, and I just shouted, "Why is nobody helping me? I need help. I'm sat here bawling my eyes out, having a nervous breakdown. I need help. Will somebody help me, please?" And they just sat me down. They didn't ask me if I wanted water. They didn't ask me if I wanted medication to calm me down. They didn't ask if I wanted to talk to anybody. They just left me there again. And then probably another hour there, and then they came and took some blood. And then I had to wait another hour for an ECG. And then the guy who was doing it, bless him, he was not English. I think he was African descent, a guy called Jonathan. Didn't know what he was doing. He had broken English. I think there was 2, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, I'm just saying how broken the NHS is. Maybe one English person was working there. One white person was working there. All the rest seemed to be foreign. So the guy who was doing the ECG didn't do it properly, didn't put the right things on, don't think he'd been trained, so they had to bring somebody else in. So I was just sat there like some not a pink cushion, but like a guinea pig whilst they were doing it, with my top off, just feeling vulnerable while more and more people came in. And then the mental health team came and sat with me and talked to me for a bit, to ask me what was going on. And then about 11:30 at night, I think I got there at 5. At 11:30 at night, the doctors came and said, "Your ECG is okay, your blood's okay." Because I think in the middle of this, because I'd been meditating so hard to try and keep my mind so still, I had a massive Kundalini, like energy, like coming up. So I was grimacing, and they were probably thinking I was on some kind of narcotic, because my body was twitching and I was like this all the time because this energy was like, nice time, perfect, thanks. So they probably thought I was on something, but they said blood's come back, you're absolutely fine, your ECG's fine, you're on about 95 heart rate, resting heart rate. That's pretty good. I was like, my resting heart rate's about 64, so no, it's not good. So he said, right, you can go home now, sir. I said, okay, well, can you bring me home? He said, we don't bring you home. Why? No, we don't. So you'll have to ring a taxi. Well, I was told I was going to be brought home, so I haven't brought any, my phone, I haven't brought any money. I was like, well, we can't help you. And this is 11:30 at night, no buses, and it would probably be a 2-hour walk to my house through a place called Hare Hills in Leeds, which is not safe to walk, even during the day. And what do I do? Well, you could stay in A&E till 6 o'clock till the buses start, and then you can get a bus. That was the only thing they could say. I was like, I don't have any money. And you want me to stay in A&E in this state for another 6 hours? And luckily somebody overheard this. This was a new patient that had come in, that was her husband. And he just tapped me on the shoulder whilst I was talking to this ambulance driver about how do I get home. And he tapped me on the shoulder and he gave me £10 and said, get a taxi. And he wouldn't accept my phone number or anything. He'd just allow me to pay him back, which was a godsend. And I got home, and thankfully the next day I was able to get a doctor's appointment, and they've set up, they wanted to set up like mental health teams and stuff like this. Of course they wanted to give me medication, because it's an easy thing to do, isn't it? Give me some tablets, get him out the door. And for the first few days I think my mind was just so exhausted, and it was only the breathing techniques and detracting myself, or trying to detract myself. I am a spiritual being. I am not my emotions. The things that are happening in here are not my fault. To try and bring myself out of it. That's the only thing that saved me in there. That was... and there was another guy, so I was in there, who was threatening to hurt himself, that they'd found, who had been trying to set himself on fire. He had shit just all over his gown, and he was just laying on the floor. And he's like, I can't feel, I need drugs, I need painkillers. And people who know how to work the system. And unfortunately with the NHS, and this started with like Thatcher, going on to Tony Blair, they've ruined the NHS. It's driven into the ground, and there's nowhere to put people with mental health problems. So they end up with normal folk. And like I say, the guy had a knife next to me, and he was drunk. And he also had scars. He had big scars, knife scars all over his face. So that's the kind of life that he lived. And he was troubled, put it that way. So the next few days I felt so raw and vulnerable, and it's like, well, I broke. I thought of all these trials that I've gone through, and all this, that I've strided through, and getting stronger, and the meditation and the expansion and connection to nature, and feeling a lot closer to coming home within myself. And this just felt like it just crumbled. And then on the third day, so the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, something clicked in my head. I was meditating. And it's like, no, this was a last gasp attempt at my ego, holding on for dear life, with all the internal dialogue that it has, all the internal conflicts that he wants to have. It wasn't working. And whether you want to call them pendulums, or the egregors, or whatever it is, these things that can hold power over you. I know there's a dispute between me and my neighbour, so there's a pendulum there. And the more that you think on it, positively or negatively, you give it power. You give it momentum, you push it. It doesn't care if it's positive or negative. And I'd realised that I'd been unknowingly feeding these things. The worry with the drug dealers, the worry with the security fence, the worry with this. And then on the third day when I got home, something just clicked and went, it don't matter. It's not important. Ignore it. And you do with these pendulums. You don't avoid them, you ignore them. And when you ignore them, and these powers, these entities, these energies don't receive any kind of energy from you, they leave you alone, they go away. So my neighbour probably saw me being put into an ambulance, and I heard on that, maybe the Friday, because he speaks on speakerphone in his house, so it's very loud. And I heard him, well, yeah, you're going in an ambulance, and then I heard something about it. He said, oh, well, he's lost a lot of weight, so, and I heard something go, I know, well, it's awful to say, but maybe he'll be gone soon. So he probably thinks I'm ill because I've lost some weight, and and he wants me gone because he does what he wants. He makes all the noise he wants. He comes back drinking and makes all the noise he wants in his own little bubble. And I hold my ground and I complain to the council who own the property that he lives in and go, he's making noise. He's dumping stuff out in the garden and he doesn't like it. So when he gets drunk, he aims all of his aggression stuff up at me, which is just verbal abuse. Hasn't been physical, but... And on the Saturday, something just clicked and went, let him. If he's having a nice time, if he's having a good life, pointing all his aggression and worries and concerns, and it all comes out when he's drinking and it all goes towards me, let him do it. Ignore it. It don't matter. And it wasn't just, oh, here's an idea that could work. This was pure belief. This was, it don't matter what he's doing. It doesn't affect you. And to me, it didn't make sense because I'd had this internal... Do you mind? I'd had this internal conflict with him since I've been here 10 years. So yeah, it just didn't make sense to me. How am I at peace all of a sudden with this? And then I was meditating on the event, and it just said this was a last gasp attempt with my ego, with my past self, with my old self, or selves, trying to fuck it all up, basically. Excuse my French. But I'd come too far, and I can make sense of it and go, oh, right. No, it doesn't. And what I've been learning recently is like no God came to save me, no spiritual being put their hand on me, no guardian angel came to bathe me in light. I did it myself because I love myself. And in spiritual terms, that's not a bad thing to say, because you have to. With the meditation and stuff like now, I'm not, please show me a sign. I'd sit there and I'm open to truth. That's all I'm doing these days. I open myself up to truth and love and peace, harmony, imagination, love, creativity. All the things that we all are anyway, that we've deviated from. I was speaking to somebody yesterday about meditation, said, well, you've just got to keep yourself busy. I was like, no, it's quite the opposite actually. You keep yourself still and quiet and you listen to what you tell yourself. And that's where ideas come from. When you've cleared that path of debris of just your mind chatter, then there's a path there that ideas and stuff can come down. Just cleaning the road, cleaning the shit out. And that's all it is, this chatter. Your ego, your whatever you want to call it, your old selves, or it wants the constant chatter, so you can't listen to what's being funneled down to you, or the energy that you're breathing in. And I've just found, like with meditation, when you clear the mind, when you just stop, and the main thing now is I used to bounce around a lot in my head with what I was focusing on. Now I'm just focusing here, right here. That's it. All the time, just there. And since the ordeal in the hospital, and I felt very vulnerable for a few days, and then I think that was just the static, like, oh, I've gone all red, I hit myself a bit too hard. Is it called a bindi? Something like that. Yeah, for the first couple of days, it just felt like the static had just like come down, and then it was like basically just like shaking a snow globe. And then when everything settled, and I think probably the ego was thinking, yeah, we're back in, it was like, I was like, my mind is very quiet and calm, and there's less chatter. It felt like something had just burned away. Honestly, just, you know, like the Avengers, when they all just like, and at first I was like, I wasn't trusting it. I was like, oh, okay. But then with meditation and just sitting in silence, the meditations recently, last week, are insane. The visuals are insane. Now, clarity, not the greatest. There seems to be quite a few things overlaying, as I think my receiver's still like tuning itself in, but it's like that, you know, you've got a big bandwidth and you don't get anything, and then you get the station, but it just takes a little while. Like a safecracker. I'm showing my age here. Like a safecracker, just dialing in that perfect reception with no static. And I think that's what I'm doing at the moment. Or my brain is, it's just doing that fine tuning. But the visuals and the downloads and the things that are coming to me, very positive and relaxed. The visuals are very, it's like what do you call it, like a flick book. It feels like there's just pages, just like choo, 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 choo. And again, in time, and I'm not rushing any of this, and again in time I might slow the brain and maybe go on an image, and I'm thinking over time when it does slow down, if I can stop on an image and then go into that, I might be able to do a bit of reality transurfing. I've been looking into that. Because we've been looking into Tom Campbell's work, and I've been reading a book about trans reality, kind of swapping realities, when you've got your current reality and then you've got your desired reality, when people can move their consciousness. Haven't tried it yet, just reading about it. And for me now, on my journey, yes, I believe that there are religions in this world, and that's one truth for people. There's spirituality, that's one truth for people. Some people might believe in the ice walls, that's one truth for somebody. Some people might believe in flat earth, that's one truth. There's a million truths in this world, in this reality. Reality manifests itself in infinite ways. So my truth is different to other people's truths. For me now, the whole point of me being here is coming home here, coming home as a spiritual being and helping as many people as I can whilst I'm doing it. It's not about guardian angels and spirit guides. I've never seen one, I've never felt one, I've never felt any kind of connection to one, I've never received any kind of downloads or information or something. I know it's just from the universe. That's my truth, that's how I feel. Now, during a meditation I might get visited by something and it might change, but for now it's like I'm here for me. And I'm here to heal, and I'm here to expand, and I'm here to help, and I'm here to serve others and myself. But I come first, and then others, so I can help. I can be my best version, so I can help them the best possible way. And that's why I make this video. So I guess the point of this is, don't get comfortable. Don't get content. Always strive to be better. Always know that you can get better, you can expand more, you can learn more. Don't lean on others, just know that. And I think that was as close to psychosis as I want to get, because that was terrifying. It was like in a tunnel, I could just feel it just slowly just go, actually coming that way, like I was just being pulled out and pulled out and pulled out until I was just maybe gone. But through discipline and through belief in myself, that I knew that I could hold on, and I knew that I could help myself. I did. And it probably wasn't until about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock that I maybe came out of it properly. So it was a good 4 hours, 5 hours really, 4 hours, 5 hours in that state That's how bad it was. But I just saw the people in there, and I think I was looking at the people in there saying, this is how bad it can get when you're left alone and you're not helped and you're not given any kind of service or help towards getting better, when you're just left. And again, that was more terrifying and probably gave me more gumption, a bit more that want to help myself. I was the only one there who was helping me. Nobody wanted to help me. Nobody asked, nobody offered. But I look back at it now and just think, what an absolute gift. Because that burnt so many mental connections in my head. These, and I spoke about in other videos, these little internal conflicts I've had with people that I've tried to get rid of. That, you go over the same bullshit over and over. And it just seems to have just burnt them all away. And now I'm just like, yeah, you're not worth my time. You're not worth my time, so I'm not going to give you any of my focus or attention. And it just seems to have gone. Like my neighbour, was thinking, oh God, he's never going to go. He's in the house all the time. He was on the phone the other day. He's booked himself a holiday to Thailand. He's going away. Right. Nice one, sorted. At least I'll get a few weeks. Peace and quiet. And then everything kind of slowly had to get antisocial behaviour team involved, so he's getting investigated. The drug deals stuff are being investigated by the police, all this stuff. So it's kind of like chipping away. So I know stuff's going on in the background, and I know now that what happened was it was hell. Don't get me wrong, it was hell whilst I was in that situation. And for a few days after, I felt very lost and didn't know what was happening. But when the snow globe all settled and the static disappeared, I was so surprised with myself how I actually felt, and I felt positive. To come out of that with a positive mindset, to me was, again, I don't understand, and I had to get my head around that and go, no, I did this. This is where I am now. This is your new mindset. I'm a spiritual being with infinite possibility. I am my soul, my energy is eternal. This is temporary. Consciousness is eternal, and that's what we are. Consciousness. I'm creating all this right now. You can't see it. You can only see this. So you're manifesting, you're creating what you're looking at, which is probably this. I'm manifesting all this. That's what we do. That's what consciousness is. We are the receiver of a data stream, and that's why people can transurf reality. You move your consciousness from one data stream into another, but your physical being still stays here. But this is why people can jump timelines. I also had my first lucid dream, very short. It was all golden, and there was this big bright shining energy being in front of me. And I remember in the dream just going, am I dreaming? And it's like, yep. It's like, whoa. I remember looking through this wall, and I was looking through the wall, and I could see every molecule through the wall. But I was also seeing a golden light, but I think I was also seeing 360 all at the same time. And then it stopped. I woke up. But it was awesome. And I'm finding that with meditation now, I'm having I did a Monroe Institute meditation. If you go into the Monroe Institute and go into their live streams, I think it was a few days ago, it's a guided meditation. And I did that last night. And I propped myself up, and I was listening with headphones, and I did it and thought, so it felt like a 20-minute, 15-minute meditation. And because he was saying come back to your body and all that, I was like, it's a short one. And I know I didn't fall asleep because I was in some kind of vision. And then when I had a look, it was 45 minutes long. It's there's no way that I was there for 45 minutes, and I didn't fall asleep. So I went somewhere, and I think that's where I am at the moment. I'm struggling to remember when I meditate and I go off somewhere. When I come back, I'm struggling to remember what I saw. But in time, it'll come back. I'll remember. I do get some things. Downloads generally just during the day when I'm just calm and I need some ideas or inspiration and stuff. So I didn't realise I was going to waffle on for so long, so which I normally do. This is to say, don't get comfortable. Always strive for more. You don't know what's around the corner, good or bad. Just be ready. Don't just rest on your laurels. Oh, well, I'm happy now, so I'll stay at this level. Keep pushing. Be disciplined. Look at someone that goes to the gym. I mean, Mr. Olympia's just been on this weekend. Some shocking results, some good results. Those guys don't get like that. I'm sure they don't want to go to the gym 6 days a week, 52 weeks a year. But it's discipline. And with meditation, or just being spiritual, whatever we're going to call it, it's discipline. It's doing it on the days that you don't want to. People, rise through the ranks in jobs and stuff, boring jobs, because it might be mundane and boring and you not enjoy it. But when you're methodical and you're disciplined and other people drop away and they don't want to do it because it's boring, or these are the people that will just, rise to the top, get the jobs that others won't, because they stick with it. With meditation, it's the same. With your spiritual practices, it's the same. Just be disciplined with yourself. And there'll be phases where you don't want to. There'll be phases where you can't get enough of it. And it all balances out. So just be gentle with yourself and love yourself and know that you're doing it for yourself at the end of the day. And this could have broken me. I see that. If I had been any lesser. But maybe I wouldn't have been given the test if I had been lesser. It gave me this test, so at the end of it I can go, look what I went through. I know what I went through, physically, emotionally and spiritually, what I went through in that situation and what was causing it, what was the build up to it. So it's now seeing the signs as well and recognising the signs and just going, if I can come out of that with a positive mindset, stronger, more resilient, more determined to keep pushing, then I can go through anything. And I mean anything. I was shocked, but now I'm actually quite impressed with myself. I'm actually really impressed with myself that happened, and I'm able to come out of it with a smile on my face. So there you go. That's my update on the Kundalini energy that I'm having when I'm meditating. Blimey O'Reilly. Good grief. It's insane. And I know that these convulses and these shakes and these twitches and stuff that I'm getting, and it's insane, is part of it. The knots in my back have gone from the small of my back all the way up my spine, all the way up the erectors up my spine, going onto the side like the lats and stuff, working up, and it got to my neck. And it was probably a week ago where all the knots in my neck just went and just opened up. And I think because of that, it's causing more energy to flow. And when the energy used to raise up, it only was kind of up to here, and it was very whoa. It's very orgasmic in a way, without the. And but now it's because of my neck's so more relaxed and my shoulders and traps and stuff. The energy is coming up, and it's coming here, and it's coming here, and it's just woof. It's insane, and it's great. So I'm going to leave it there. So, yeah, be gentle with yourself, but know that you're the one that pushes yourself. You're the one in charge. And you're the one that can choose. If you're not happy with a situation, you choose to be happy in that situation. You're the one that can choose to spin positivity with any kind of situation or that's going on in your life or thought process. You can choose, and you can choose at any moment to do it. And I've chosen I've chosen to treat every test, every opportunity, every obstacle as a gift that makes me stronger and push me forward in my evolution and my expansion. And I think because of that, I now just see the things that were trials as quite funny in a way, quite the things that I was looking at and just thinking, oh, that's really bad, I can't believe that there's drug dealers and stuff like that. I'm not thinking, all right, okay, well, no problem, I'll deal with it. I don't see it as a problem anymore. So it's all about mindset and choosing that these things aren't a problem, and choosing that you're the one that can spin positivity into anything, and gratitude. So, yeah. Remember to love yourself and one another. Be gentle, but hold your ground. And I'll speak to you soon.